Oh, the Copa America is happening soon, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited because, well, there is a ton of opportunity for this Brazil team, and I'm just ready to get disappointed by Brazil, especially because, I don't know, it seems like CONMEBOL and FIFA are doing everything in their power to try to give Messi another international trophy. Look, and I know that a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, the conspiracy." I'm sorry. Go have a look at these groups at the Copa America and tell me that's not the narrative I'm supposed to go with. Just look me in the face and tell me that Group A and Group B are built the best way possible to give Argentina any type of competition before they get to the final. Like, I'm just not going to have it at all. Because, like, Chile's in this weird spot where they're like, the old heads are still the better players, but they're old. Like, can you get 90 minutes out of them? So what are they going to do? Canada's fun, but they're like, that's it. They're fun. They're not good. They're just fun. They're young. They're hungry, and they're going to give you a good game, but they're still going to lose by 2 or 3 when it comes to playing against Argentina. Peru's Peru. Sorry, Peruvians. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just not a good team. And then there's not a single team in Group B that's going to win a game outside of the group. Like, right? Like, Mexico's not good. Jamaica's happy that they're here in the first place. And even Ecuador and Venezuela, who are probably going to be the teams that make it out of the group, in my opinion, are just going to immediately get bounced in the moment we get to the quarterfinal. I'm sorry, is it the quarterfinals? Yeah, the quarterfinals. And yeah, right into the quarterfinals. They're not going to make it past that because, like, can you really tell me that Ecuador or Venezuela can beat Chile or Canada, which is the team that makes out of a Group B or makes out of a Group A after Argentina? I don't know. And neither one of them is going to beat Argentina. And so, even with all that being said, they just walk to the final. Like, it's easy. The first competition that Argentina is going to face at the Copa America is at the final. And then when you look at Groups C and D and the way that they were put out, there are more competitive teams in those brackets that can actually make a run for it. In Group C alone, you have Uruguay, who is the third best team in this competition, and watch out for Uruguay because they can make a run. They are built so incredibly well. I think they've got an excellent manager. They're actually utilizing their players to the best of their ability in terms of, like, they're not relying on the Luis Suarez's and the Edison Cavani's to carry this team. They are coming in to be veteran leadership, to be the super subs that we know that they can be, and that is a great utilization of those assets, and that team is young and hungry, and they are loaded with talent. Watch out for Uruguay, because if they show up in, like, the way that I think that they can play, they're going to be dangerous. And I think that they can make a final. That's a team that can beat Argentina. That's a team that can beat Brazil. They're definitely going to beat everyone in their group. But even then, inside of Group C, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the U.S., and rightfully so. After the Colombia game, it was very, very hard to watch, but we saw how they could suffer through defense against the Brazil team on that game. And so, like, just watch out, because I think 4 of the U.S. players are over the age of 26. Like, only 2 of them are over the age of 30. This is a team that is incredibly young. This is a team that has a ton of talent, and the U.S. has done an incredible job over the last couple of years of exporting their talent to Europe to gather as much playing time as possible, and they are spread all over Europe. I believe the stat is that only 4 of the players on the U.S. men's national team play in the MLS, which is a great number. And even though a majority of the players on the U.S. men's team aren't playing for the biggest clubs in the world, a couple of them are, when you've got, like Weah and McKinney at Juve, when you've got Pulisic at Milan. And so there are players there, the goalkeeper at Forest. Like, there are players that are playing in Europe, and they're playing well in Europe. And again, they're young. And I think that's the key, is that this group can stay together for the next 10 years. And this can be them putting themselves on the map. I still think the United States needs to fire their manager and bring somebody new in, and somebody who's going to be a part of the project for the next 8 to 10 years. And I just don't like their current manager at all. But that's a conversation for a different video that I might make after the Copa America. We'll see. But going back to the Argentina issue, like, it just seems like CONMEBOL and FIFA are doing everything to give them the trophy because they're not going to face any competition. Now, that might come to bite them in the butt because, well, if the first level of competition that you're going to face is going to be in the final, that's at least a conversation that you have to have, right? Like, where it's just like, it can either work well for them because, like, they're going to be rested and you're not going to have to use, like, the 36-year-old Messi, 36-year-old Di Maria, you know, a 30-year-old DePaul, and players that might be key pieces to this midfield, to this defense, to the forward group, and you're not really going to have to test Emiliano Martinez, who I don't think is a good goalkeeper. And if you can save his, like, energy and stuff for the final, which is the first time they're going to play a real team, which is either going to be against Uruguay, who we talked about, or Brazil, who we're going to talk about right now. And I think that Brazil has an incredible opportunity at this Copa America to really start off a new era of Brazilian football. And I really think that the comments that Ronaldinho made recently, where he said that this is one of the worst Brazil teams that he's ever seen because there is no passion for the uniform, there is no passion for the jersey. Like, Ronaldinho is one of the greats of Brazil, and he is like, that's like what he is. He won the Copa with his team. He won World Cups for the national team, and what he says goes. And I think a lot of these young guys, like, know about the legend that is Ronaldinho. And I hope that these comments go and are utilized in the right way. And here's the problem. I have zero faith in Dorival. Like, zero faith in him making the right decisions about the team and the way that he's going to play the team and this and that. Like, I don't like him as the hiring of the manager because it just seems like at every opportunity he's making the wrong decision for this team in the long run. So, like, specifically, let's talk about, like, the lineup that he went against the USA, which seemed like it was going to be, hey, we're going to give our ones the opportunity to play and to prove themselves. And the team that he went with kind of just blew my mind a little bit because you started Rafinha, which is just a mistake. He should not play as a starter for this Brazil team. He's just not good enough, especially when you take into consideration that we have players that are better at that position. Like, you should start Martinelli. You should start Endrick. Like, hell, I would even start Savinho over Rafinha because I think that they're all better than he is. But that's fine. Then he started Lucas Paqueta as that number 10 role, you know, to play in that central attacking midfield role. And I just don't like that, really. And I'm not the biggest fan of Lucas Paqueta, like, at all. Loved the midfield duo of Bruno Guimaraes and João Gomes. I love that midfield pairing. But then in that back four, in the defense, to go Beraldo Marquinhos when you have Militao, and maybe he's still dealing with the injury, and I'll give you that. But how do you not start Gabriel, who I think is an excellent player? You know, there's just some interesting decisions that are being made, but I think the biggest ones for me are Lucas Paqueta and Rafinha starting over players like Martinelli and Endrick, who I think are just better and add more to this team. If you're going to play with a double pivot, if you're going to play with two holding midfielders, you have to have creativity up top. And is Rafinha and Paqueta, are they really bringing that? I don't know. That's my biggest concern, is just Dorival. I don't like him as a manager. I hated the appointing of him as a manager. But I hope that all of the news and all of the stuff that's happening with Brazil right now is one of those things that I just hope that we can overcome. I hope that we can win in spite of it. I hope that the Ronaldinho news comes in and galvanizes this team and doesn't go in a negative way with this team and throw them into the dirt. Because, one, I'd hate to see Argentina win another Copa America, but, like, it's just, I think that this team is good enough to do it. I think that this team has the players that are good enough to come in and really, really be competitive. And even though the path to the final isn't going to be easy because you're going to have to go through Colombia. You're going to have to go through Uruguay, to get there. And we're actually going to have a battle to get to the final. I would rather have a team that is battle tested in the final and knows what their weaknesses is and how to address them than a team who doesn't really know who they are, like, all that much, like, because Garnacho is going to be new to the team and all that stuff. And, like, obviously Argentina has an identity. They just won the World Cup 2 years ago. But every time the national team gets together, it's a new identity, and you need to find yourself again, and you need to figure out how you're going to play because players get older. Younger players come in, and they bring different skill sets. And so, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Copa America. Who do you have winning? Who do you have losing? Do you think that CONMEBOL and FIFA are handing Messi another international trophy to try to solidify himself as the GOAT? Let me know in the comment section below. And last but not least, get out of here.